Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into one of the most transformative journeys you can embark on in your lifetime, the journey from debt to wealth, and ultimately to financial freedom. If you've ever felt trapped by bills, overwhelmed by credit card statements, or wondered if you'll ever escape the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, this video is for you. I'm going to walk you through the exact roadmap that countless people have used to transform their financial lives. We're not talking about get-rich-quick schemes or lottery fantasies. This is about real, sustainable change that starts with where you are right now and takes you to where you want to be. Before we jump in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any of our financial freedom content. And if this video helps you today, give it a thumbs up to help others find it too. The first step on any journey is knowing your starting point. You can't use a map if you don't know where you are, right? The same applies to your finances. Most people avoid this step because it is uncomfortable. Looking at debt, especially when it is significant, can be scary and demoralizing. But here is the truth: you can't change what you don't acknowledge. Grab a notebook or open a spreadsheet. We're going to do a complete financial inventory. List out every single debt you have. Credit cards, student loans, car loans, personal loans, medical debt, everything. For each one, write down the total amount owed, the interest rate, and the minimum monthly payment. Don't judge yourself during this process. This is just data, just numbers on a page. Next, calculate your total debt. Yes, seeing that number might sting, but it is also empowering because now you know exactly what you're dealing with. Many people discover they had been carrying around an inflated fear of their debt because they'd never actually tallied it up. Sometimes the reality, while challenging, is less overwhelming than the vague anxiety of not knowing. Now let's look at the other side, your assets and income. What do you earn each month after taxes? What assets do you own? This might include savings, retirement accounts, your home equity, or other investments. Calculate your net worth by subtracting your total debts from your total assets. If this number is negative, don't panic, you're about to change that. Here is something they don't teach you in school. Your relationship with money is mostly psychological. Before we tackle the practical steps, we need to address the mindset that got you into debt in the first place, or that is keeping you there. Debt often accumulates because of emotional spending, lack of financial education, unexpected emergencies, or sometimes just the culture we live in that normalizes borrowing. Whatever your reasons, there is no value in shame or guilt. Those emotions don't motivate lasting change. They just make you feel bad. Instead, adopt a growth mindset about money. Understand that financial literacy is a skill anyone can learn. You're not bad with money as a permanent character trait. You simply haven't learned certain skills yet. That is exactly what you're doing right now by watching this video. Start viewing every financial decision as a choice between your current self and your future self. That expensive coffee, that impulse purchase, that subscription you forgot about. Those are all votes for immediate gratification over future freedom. This doesn't mean never enjoying life, but it means being intentional rather than reactive with your money. One powerful mental reframe is to think about money as captured time and freedom. When you spend money, you're spending the hours of your life you exchange for that money. When you save and invest money, you're buying back future hours of your life. Suddenly, that purchase requires a different calculation, doesn't it? Now we get tactical. There are two primary strategies for paying off debt, and both work. The key is choosing one and sticking with it consistently. The first is the debt snowball method. With this approach, you list all your debts from smallest balance to largest, regardless of interest rate. You pay minimum payments on everything except the smallest debt, which you attack with every extra dollar you can find. Once that smallest debt is gone, you take that payment amount and add it to the minimum payment of the next smallest debt. The snowball grows as you go. The psychological power of this method is immense. Humans are motivated by wins, and eliminating a debt completely, even a small one, gives you a victory that fuels continued effort. You see progress quickly, which maintains momentum. The second strategy is the debt avalanche method. Here, you list debts by interest rate, from highest to lowest. You pay minimums on everything except the highest interest debt, which gets all your extra payments. Mathematically, this saves you the most money in interest over time. The avalanche method is more efficient financially, but the snowball method is often more effective psychologically. Choose based on your personality. If you need quick wins to stay motivated, go snowball. If you're disciplined and motivated by mathematical optimization, go avalanche. Whichever method you choose, the critical element is finding extra money to throw at your debt beyond minimum payments. This brings us to the two-pronged approach that accelerates everything, cutting expenses and increasing income. Let's talk about reducing spending in a way that is sustainable. Extreme deprivation doesn't work long-term because you'll eventually rebel against it. Instead, we're going to find smart cuts that improve your life, not diminish it. Start by tracking every expense for 1 month, every coffee, every subscription, every purchase. Apps like Mint or a simple spreadsheet work great for this. The awareness alone will change your behavior. You'll spot patterns you never noticed before. Once you see where your money goes, categorize expenses into 3 buckets: essential, valuable, and wasteful. Essential expenses keep you alive and employed: rent, utilities, basic groceries, transportation to work, insurance. Valuable expenses genuinely improve your quality of life. Maybe that gym membership you use daily or the family dinner tradition on Fridays. Wasteful expenses are things you don't remember buying or don't actually use. Cut the wasteful ruthlessly, that subscription you forgot about. Gone those impulse purchases at the checkout. Stop. The valuable expenses stay because deprivation leads to failure. The essential expenses get optimized. Can you reduce your grocery bill by meal planning? Lower your insurance by shopping around? Cut your phone bill by switching providers? One of the biggest expense categories to examine is food. The average American spends a shocking amount on restaurants and takeout. I'm not saying never eat out, but reducing restaurant meals from 5 times a week to once a week could save you several $100s monthly. Learn some simple, quick meals you enjoy cooking. Make it a game, not a punishment. Another area ripe for cutting is the little luxuries that add up. A $5 coffee every workday is over $100 a month, which is over $1,200 a year. That is a significant debt payment. Again, if this coffee is truly valuable to you, keep it. But if it is just habit, invest in a good coffee maker. The money you free up from cutting expenses goes directly to debt elimination. Every dollar you don't spend is a dollar that reduces the chains holding you back from financial freedom. Cutting expenses has a limit. You can only reduce costs so much. Income, however, has virtually unlimited upside potential. While you're cutting expenses, simultaneously work on earning more. Start with your primary job. When was the last time you asked for a raise? If you've been delivering value and it has been over a year, prepare a case for why you deserve higher compensation. Document your achievements, research market rates for your position, and schedule a conversation with your manager. The worst they can say is no, and even that often opens a dialogue about what you'd need to do to earn a raise. If a raise isn't possible at your current job, consider whether switching employers might bump your income. In many industries, changing companies every few years results in higher lifetime earnings than staying loyal to one employer. Update your resume, start networking, and explore what is out there. Beyond your primary job, the gig economy offers countless ways to earn extra income. Drive for a rideshare service on weekends. Deliver food in the evenings. Freelance in your area of expertise on platforms like Upwork or Fiverr. Rent out a spare room on Airbnb. Sell items you no longer need on Facebook Marketplace or eBay. Consider what skills you already have that could translate into a side business. Are you good at graphic design, writing, bookkeeping, tutoring, coding, photography? There are people willing to pay for these services. A side hustle that brings in an extra $500 or $1,000 monthly can dramatically accelerate your debt payoff timeline. The beautiful thing about side income is that it is often taxed differently and feels different psychologically. Because it is extra rather than your main paycheck, it is easier to direct it entirely toward debt rather than letting lifestyle inflation absorb it. Here is a crucial step many people miss. While paying off debt aggressively, you need a small emergency fund. I know this seems counterintuitive. Why save money when you're in debt? Because without an emergency fund, the first unexpected expense sends you right back into debt, undoing your progress. Start with a goal of $1,000 in a separate savings account. This mini emergency fund isn't for vacations or wants. It is for actual emergencies: car repairs, medical bills, emergency travel, critical home repairs. Having this buffer means you won't need to reach for a credit card when life happens, because life will happen. Pay minimum payments on debts while you build this small fund as quickly as possible. Once you have it, then pour everything into debt elimination using your chosen method. After you're completely debt-free except for your mortgage, you'll build a full emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses. But that comes later. This emergency fund is your insurance policy against sliding back into debt. Protect it fiercely and replenish it immediately if you need to use it. Let's fast forward. You've been working your plan. You've been cutting expenses, increasing income, and throwing every extra dollar at debt. Slowly but surely, you've been watching those balances shrink. And then, one day, you make that final payment, you're debt-free. This moment is transformative. The weight that has been on your shoulders for years lifts. But here is where many people make a critical mistake. They treat becoming debt-free as the finish line rather than the starting line for building real wealth. The habits you built while eliminating debt are your greatest asset. Don't abandon them. The discipline, the budgeting, the focus on value over impulse. These are now permanent parts of who you are. The money that was going to debt payments doesn't disappear. It gets redirected toward building wealth. First, complete that full emergency fund. Take the amount you are paying toward debts each month and build up 3 to 6 months of expenses in a high-yield savings account. This fund protects you from financial catastrophe and eliminates the fear that underlies so many bad money decisions. With your emergency fund complete, you're ready for the wealth-building phase. This is where everything changes, where money starts working for you instead of you working for money. Investing is how you transition from financial stability to financial freedom. While you work your job and earn active income, your investments generate passive income. Eventually, if you invest consistently enough for long enough, that passive income can exceed your expenses. That is financial independence. Start with retirement accounts. If your employer offers a 401k match, contribute at least enough to get the full match. This is free money, an instant 100% return on investment. There is no investment anywhere that beats that. Next, open a Roth IRA if you are eligible. The contribution limits change annually, but maximizing this account gives you tax-free growth and tax-free withdrawals in retirement. That is incredibly powerful over decades of compounding. For both accounts, invest in low-cost index funds that track the overall market. You are not trying to pick individual stocks or time the market. You are buying a tiny piece of thousands of companies and letting the economy's overall growth work for you over time. Boring, yes, effective, absolutely. If you max out tax-advantaged accounts and still have money to invest, open a regular brokerage account. The same strategy applies: low-cost index funds, consistent contributions, long-term holding. Time in the market beats timing the market every single time. The most important factor in investment success isn't picking the right stocks or finding the perfect timing. It is consistent contributions over a long time horizon. Someone who invests $300 monthly for 30 years will vastly outperform someone who tries to save up and make one large investment, even if that person perfectly times the market. This is the magic of compound interest. Your returns generate returns, which generate returns, which generate returns. Einstein allegedly called it the eighth wonder of the world. In your early years of investing, your contributions matter most. But give it time, and eventually your returns dwarf your contributions. Your money makes more money than you do at your job. As your income increases and your debts disappear, you'll face a major temptation: lifestyle inflation. This is when your spending rises to match your income. You get a raise, so you upgrade your car. You pay off debt, so you move to a nicer apartment. You get a bonus, so you book a luxury vacation. These upgrades feel good in the moment, but they reset your financial baseline higher. Suddenly, you need more income to maintain your new lifestyle. The gap between your income and expenses doesn't grow. It stays the same or even shrinks. This keeps you on the treadmill indefinitely. The wealthy understand something crucial. Building wealth requires keeping your expenses significantly below your income, not just slightly below. That gap is where wealth is built. Every percentage point you can keep your expenses below your income is a percentage point going toward investments and freedom. This doesn't mean living like a miser forever. It means being intentional about lifestyle upgrades. Upgrade the things that genuinely matter to your quality of life and happiness. Skip the status symbols that only impress people you don't know. Choose the modest car that gets you where you need to go reliably, instead of the luxury car that depreciates rapidly. Stay in the affordable house a few more years, even after you could afford more. Create a personal rule that any time your income increases, you invest at least 50% of that increase before allowing any lifestyle inflation. If you get a $500 monthly raise, $250 goes to investments before you even consider spending more. This keeps the gap growing while still allowing some quality of life improvements. Financial freedom isn't just about having enough money, it is about having security. The most financially secure people don't rely on a single income source. They build multiple streams that support their lifestyle. You've already got your primary job income. You might have developed a side hustle. Now consider other streams: dividend income from investments, rental property income, royalties from creative work, income from a small business, interest from savings and bonds. Each stream doesn't need to be massive. Even a few $100s monthly from several different sources creates resilience. If one stream dries up, you're not devastated. You have others supporting you. Rental properties are a popular wealth-building vehicle. Real estate provides both monthly cash flow from rent and long-term appreciation in value. However, being a landlord isn't passive income. It requires work and carries risks. Research thoroughly before diving into real estate investing. Creating digital products or content that generates ongoing revenue is another powerful stream. Write an ebook, create an online course, build a YouTube channel, start a blog with affiliate marketing. These require significant upfront effort but can generate income long after the initial work is done. The goal is to gradually reduce your dependence on trading time for money. Build assets that produce income whether you're working or not. This is the foundation of true financial freedom. Financial freedom means different things to different people. For some, it is retiring early. For others, it is having the option to work part-time or pursue passion projects without worrying about money. For others still, it is simply sleeping soundly knowing they're secure, no matter what happens. Calculate your financial freedom number. This is the amount of invested assets you need to generate enough passive income to cover your expenses indefinitely. A common guideline is the 4% rule. You can safely withdraw 4% of your investment portfolio annually without depleting it. So if your annual expenses are $40,000, you'd need $1 million invested to withdraw 4%, which equals $40,000 yearly. If your expenses are $60,000, you'd need $1.5 million. This number might seem enormous right now. especially if you're just starting. But remember, you're not building this all at once. You're building it steadily, year after year, through consistent investing. Thanks to compound interest, the growth accelerates over time. The first 100,000 is the hardest. After that, momentum builds. Breaking it into milestones makes it feel achievable. Celebrate your first $10,000 invested, then $25,000. Each milestone is significant progress toward financial freedom. Once you've transformed your own financial life, one of the most valuable things you can do is share that knowledge. Financial literacy isn't taught in most schools, which is why so many adults struggle with money. Break that cycle with your own children or young people in your life. Teach kids about earning, saving, spending wisely, and giving. Let them make small financial decisions and experience the consequences in a safe environment. When they want something, help them create a plan to save for it rather than just buying it for them. This builds patience and goal-setting skills. As they get older, introduce concepts like compound interest, the cost of debt, and the value of investing early. Show them. Don't just tell them. If they get a part-time job as a teenager, help them open a Roth IRA and explain how money invested at 16 will grow exponentially by retirement. The financial knowledge you share could change the trajectory of someone's entire life. It is a gift that keeps giving across generations. The journey from debt to wealth isn't a sprint, it is a marathon. There will be setbacks. Unexpected expenses will arise. You might lose motivation sometimes. The key is persistence and getting back on track quickly when you stumble. Remember why you started this journey. Maybe it is to stop living paycheck to paycheck. Maybe it is to retire your parents. Maybe it is to travel the world. Maybe it is simply to sleep better at night. Keep that reason visible. Write it down. Look at it when you're tempted to give up or revert to old habits. Surround yourself with people who support your financial goals. Join communities of like-minded people on their own financial freedom journeys. Read books about personal finance. Listen to podcasts. Consume content that reinforces the behaviors you're building. Your environment shapes your habits, so design an environment that supports success. Track your progress visibly. Create a chart showing your debt payoff progress or your investment account growth. Seeing that line moving in the right direction, even slowly, provides motivation to keep going. Celebrate milestones along the way. When you pay off a credit card, do something small to acknowledge it. When you hit a new investment milestone, recognize the achievement. These celebrations reinforce the positive behaviors that got you there. If you've made it to the end of this video, you now have the complete roadmap from debt to wealth to financial freedom. You understand the mindset shifts required, the practical strategies to eliminate debt, the habits that build wealth, and the long-term vision that creates lasting financial security. This journey is absolutely possible for you. It doesn't matter where you're starting from. People have climbed out of six-figure debt to build seven-figure net worths. People have gone from homeless to homeowners. People have transformed their financial lives starting at 20 or at 50. What matters is that you start and that you stay consistent. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is right now, today. Take that first step. Do your financial inventory. Choose your debt payoff method. Cut one wasteful expense. Start one side hustle. Open that retirement account. Just begin. Financial freedom is worth pursuing not just for the money itself, but for what it represents: options, security, peace of mind, and the ability to live life on your own terms. You deserve that. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today. Thank you so much for watching. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Subscribe to the channel for more content on personal finance, wealth building, and financial freedom. Drop a comment below telling me where you are on your journey and what your biggest financial goal is. I read every comment and I'm rooting for you. Remember, every expert was once a beginner. Every wealthy person started with nothing or with debt. The difference is they took action and stayed consistent. Your journey from debt to wealth starts now. Let's get after it.